Welcome, everybody. You are the embodiment of success.
Yes, we are.
So, folks, I want you to look at success, because this is what it is. Okay. So, Poncho, let me start with you. And again, folks, I'm going to ask our production team if they wouldn't mind raising the lights at some point, because I want you to interact with these. Because remember what I said? I can talk this through until 10 o'clock tonight. Poncho, let me start with you if I can. It's a very easy question, but I want, in your own words, to define, or for you to define what you think leadership is.
For me, leadership is, someone who's very authentic. You need to be authentic about who you are. Leadership for me is integrity. Leadership for me is loyalty. Leadership for me is giving back, making a difference in people's lives.
What does authenticity mean, though, in leadership?
Authentic leadership is more being who you are, the way you were born, your purpose, going back to your purpose, your passion, living your truth, celebrating your gifts and talents that God has blessed you with, not trying to be someone else, not trying to, doing what other people are doing, but looking at your strength, your weaknesses, and mostly, embracing your strength.
Elaine, you lead leaders, am I correct? You teach leaders.
Yes,
you engage with them. On a couple of occasions in the morning session, people spoke about that lack of confidence when they were not able to push through. How do you remotivate a leader?
That's a very nice question, Jeremy. Thank you so much. And I think, just as Ponzo has said, authenticity is one of the most important things in life, because we don't really know who we are most of the times. And so we
Speak for yourself.
and we base our confidence on titles, on things, on what we think success is, and not really trying to be who we really are in the essence of who we are. And so for me, the definition of leadership is not a title. It's not a position. Leadership is influence. And so if you can influence one other person, you're a leader.
Slam dunk, you've done the job.
Thank you so much. Can I go now?
No, you can't. There are many more tricky questions to come. Lesego, if I can get to you, as someone then who is in a position of leadership, what would be the secret to pushing through bad times? Because all of us, folks, I mean, you're all leaders. I'm certainly not. I am learning from you as leaders. But and everyone, it's difficult. You're confronted with adversity. There are hurdles all the time. How do you push through that? And Chuma, I'm going to come to you on that same question because you are nodding your head. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the context of my work as an employer and an occupational therapist, it's always important for each person that is participating in the business. As the leader, I need to ensure that I understand what is each person's individual purpose for being there. So we all need to identify, why am I here? What am I here to do? And how does it, again, serve me as a person? Mm-hmm. So once we've identified those things, it's easier then to move forward with the people that I work with through any challenges, any barriers, because I ensure that we address what their purpose is, what is their need from this whole from all of us working together. So it really takes the skill to understand, not just to be selfish as in how does this company serve me, but how does it serve the people that I am working with?
As Gerry Nel would say, I put it to you, okay, that you're overcomplicating it. I think you're becoming too philosophical. Surely the core purpose for most of us is survival in the workplace. We need to feed our family. We need to pay our bonds. We need to pay our cars. At what point do we then start grappling with this core purpose? Money's the motivator, surely.
No, definitely, and I agree with you. But with that also is the journey to self-actualization, because each person that is working, they work in order to extract their own skills, their own talents, to discover new things about them. And those are the things that we miss that help people overcome challenges and barriers. I mean, money is fundamentally the reason why people work, but it's not really the reason why people stay where they are.
I'm coming to the three of you in just a moment. Acknowledge the applause. I think that is great. It's different for the so-called millennial generation, isn't it? They're not necessarily motivated as much by money as I am, as perhaps some of you are.
Maybe.
Is that true? Lesego?
Well, I'm still motivated by money, I'll tell you that.
But
Yes,
again,
but
it's to the core purpose. It's to
Yes.
the beneficiation of humanity.
Yes.
It's to what Advocate Ndlovu was talking about. It's the Mandela factor in all of this.
Yes, and also also answering the question of why. What is your why? Why am I doing this? So that is what most young people are seeking now. They want answers to why do they have to invest their time and their resources in that you've placed before them.
Okay. You have some fans out there. Chumna, first of all, I want to ask you, are the trains running on time today?
Okay, well,
Because
that's
does everything collapse when you're not here?
there are a couple of trains that are cancelled. I've got a fear of not having my phone with me because I'm on so many WhatsApp groups with the operations guys and with the customers themselves. So, but things are going. Yeah, things are going.
But you have one eye on the WhatsApp messages.
You
too.
know how it is.
Okay. I certainly do. That you were nodding your head about that question about pushing through the bad times, getting through difficulties as a leader. Give us your perspective.
Firstly, thanks for the question, Jeremy. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. I think I like that you asked that question because I think life is not smooth or plain sailing, you know? It's cyclical. And I think all of us sitting here have actually experienced tough times in life. And what's helped me as a leader is to just to know what my passion and my mission is in whatever job I'm going into or in whatever sphere I'm entering. And once I know what my passion is, I will have strength and I'll have the motivation to carry on through the tough times. And I'll actually have the endurance and the patience to crawl. Because sometimes you just have to crawl. Sometimes things are so bad that you just need to wake up, eat, get ready for work, get to the office, do what you do, and get home. And there's nothing more that you can do but that. And you have to realize that things are seasonal. The seasons never last, you know. And I think what also pushes you through those tough times is to hold on to something. Whether it's your family, whether it's your faith. If you're a Christian, I know that there's a verse that I hold very dear to my heart, which is Jeremiah 29, verse 11, which states, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not plans to harm you." So I think holding on to things like that, it makes you realize that it's not about me. It's about for the good of the greater community. It's about servant leadership. And for you to succeed, it means the success of others coming behind you. Yeah.
I remember conducting a similar interview, and I was asking a person, said, well, it's really important that you have something to hold on to. And I said, and what would that be? And she looked at me and she said, my personal trainer. I'm not entirely sure if that's appropriate here, particularly if we're quoting Jeremiah. Chumna, let me ask you, this thing about finding your passion.
Yes.
At the outset today, I said that for many of us, it's a journey. You don't just suddenly find it.
Of course.
I'm not sure if I've found mine yet.
Yeah.
How do you go about identifying what it is?
You know what? I'm going to go back to the answer of authenticity because if you're an authentic person, you live without fear. And if you live without fear, you're not afraid to say, I've made a mistake. As I sit here today, I mean, I'm 32 and I've had 6 different permanent jobs in my lifetime because I've just decided I'm in this job, I don't like it, it's not what I thought it would be, and I've just left, you know, and started something else.
Because you're a millennial.
Exactly. So, so I think finding your passion, I think we need to realize that it's not the same for each and every one of us. It's not going to happen the first time you try to find it. So you have to know that you will make mistakes, you will go the wrong way, but that's the beauty of life. That's your journey. You're allowed to make mistakes because mistakes are actually what leads you to the right path. Yeah.
Regine, why is reputation important in all of this?
Reputation matters in everything that you do because you want to be associated with companies and organizations and brands that reflect your values. And to use the same word that was used earlier, authenticity, integrity, those are words that get thrown around a lot. And reputation is built over time. So you have to, it's important because you want to be viewed in a specific way. And without your reputation, you're not going to get far. You can have a bad reputation as well. And to then fix that is going to be a lot more challenging.
Is reputation something that is organic, or is it something that you have to work on in developing?
It takes time to grow. You need to build it. So you need to know where it is that you're going to. So you need to have, one of the speakers spoke about having that focus. That dog was focused on something, to know where it is that you're going towards. So to get there, you need certain values and ethics to help you to get there. And that's really important for building where you need to be going from a reputation point of view.
Retabile, let me ask you this question, given that you are a chemical engineer, and I stand in utter awe. You expect then the question about the work. You don't succeed without the work, putting in the hours, whether you're naturally gifted or not. By the way, what did you get for maths in matric? Do you remember?
The what?
Maths in matric. Do you remember what you got, what your mark was?
Metric.
Yeah, maths. It was a while back. You don't,
Probably A.
probably A, she just says. Who was the person that it was Run that showed us his maths mark? What was it, 40? Yeah, I don't know if Rand is still here. It was 47%. Tell us about your work ethic.
I think producing results is very important. So there are no short corners. You need, as you rightly said, you need to put in the hours. Because one of the ways in which you build trust with either the people you work with or the people you service. In our case, we work with entrepreneurs, we incubate, we help them commercialize their businesses. The only way you can build that trust with them is by producing results. And producing results requires you to put in the hours.
What sort of hours do you put in a day? For instance, what time do you wake up in the morning?
Today I woke up at 4.
Okay.
Wow.
Is that normal, or is that?
It's normal for me to wake up at 4. But it's also not about working long hours. Really, it's about working smart. It's making sure that you do the right things with your time, including spending time with family and friends. So it's not just work all the time. And with work, it's about finding the optimal time for you.
Right.
So I'm at my peak in the morning. Therefore, I prefer to push most of the work that needs my headspace, my mind.
The difficult decisions.
The difficult decisions earlier on in the day, and then I can push with the emails later in the day.
As a matter of interest, anybody on the panel who gets up after 6 in the morning, put up your hand. See, that's he's just clapping because he gets up at 9 in the morning. All right, folks, do we have some microphones being run here? Because I want to hand this over to you now. Okay, so, all right, the gentleman who started the clapping. Guys, where are microphone people? Okay, okay, we're going to start there, okay, because that's where the mic is. I promise you I will get to you. You are second. Okay, off you go.
Good afternoon, and thank
Let's
you
get the
so
mic
much,
on, please, if we can. Thank you.
ladies. Thank you so much for being part of the...
Try and talk like this.
Like this, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being part of the panel members in being inspiring and phenomenal women. And one of the things that I caught as my attention is I would like to find out from each lady, what mentorship programs do you have as part of your common factor that you're giving back to young people, you're giving back to SMEs? What mentorship programs do you have? Because I think that's a bit of a gap in terms of SMEs, young people. They are not being led in terms of being mentees and being possible mentors and passing on the batons to other young people as well.
So I think it's a very important point, and who'd like to be? I mean, authenticity is critical, but you can only achieve your true authentic self if I think someone helps you part of the way. You need someone to work with or walk with on that journey. So, Ponso, let's start with you. First of all, the importance of mentorship, and then maybe...
Yeah, mentorship is very important. I mean, I look at my business. I started at the age of 24, And it's through mentors that I succeeded. And what I did in my business is I launched an HR consulting, then an image consulting. Then I branched out into a foundation to empower young women. We call it Fabulous Girls Foundation. What we do, we run a program for a year. We identify 100 young people in Gauteng because that's where I'm based. And then we also run programs in different schools. Then back into the 100 young people that we host for a year. In August, we have a so-called Fabulous Women Awards, where we recognize young women of South Africa, as well as successful women in South Africa. So we invite them. You can imagine, I mean, putting these young people from townships in the same, tables with successful women, and we also pair them according to their dreams, their, the talents, the things that they want to do in future. And it's been a success to date. This year is going to be our 5th annual Fabulous Women Awards, and we are hosting young women from Tembisa. Last year we hosted Alexander. A year before we were in Deep Sloot. So mentorship is very, very important because it's you sharing your dreams, your knowledge, everything that you acquired, and giving it to a young person.
So it sounds like you really are committed to it. Anybody else on the panel want to
Absolutely, yes.
pick up the mentorship thing? Yeah, Elaine?
So I run a few businesses, and I worked in international development for a very long time. So my background is organizational development, but at some point you lose your path and then you just want to do your own thing. And so I employ. And one of the biggest issues that we struggled with, employing people that just come off the street, is the workplace readiness. And so I joined John Maxwell, just because I wanted to be able to allow young people in the country to access really good information and books that has been globally recognized. And John C. Maxwell is a world leader in leadership. And so I joined him just to offer trainings to my own staff, just to be able to say, when you actually get a job, how do you grow within the workplace? Because every single one of us has to grow. We don't just come to work to exist. I mean, what is that? We're here to make a difference. We're here to change the world. And yes, I may be a millennial. I'm not sure. I would like to call myself. But one of the things is it's passion that sets us apart. Yeah. And so with John, we've developed a program called The Winner's Edge. It's a corporate program, but for every corporate program sold, we sponsor a young person who has no workplace, like not able to get hired, to be able to study something that gets them access into the workplace. We work with TUT currently, with Tux and with VITS, and there's such success in it because the key is mindset, and we train for mindset.
Right, Elaine, that's fantastic. I'm going to move on. I think what I'm learning from both of you, and I'm suspecting the rest of you would have the same view, is that it's not going to work unless there is leadership and commitment as far as that program is concerned. My advice to you, the person that raised that, is that I think you've also got to manage the person that is mentoring you. So I've done this on a couple of occasions. I'm very lazy about it. And the person who have succeeded with me are the people that have really pushed me hard. It's a two-way street, isn't it? The gentleman that was clapping a lot. There we go. Off you go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
My question goes out to, I don't know if I can say Ms. Mioli or Mrs. Mioli.
Mioli.
I commute with a train to and from work. But the communication is very terrible. Isn't any way that you can improve communications? Thank you.
Communications on the train.
Yes, please.
Okay, fair enough. I'm a little sort of 360 degrees away from leadership, but or is it? I'm coming to you now. Or is it? I mean, it's. I think it's in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I like that he's raised that question because I was at a lecture today at PwC, and the lecturer said leadership is finding something that's wrong and just getting on with it and fixing it. So you're taking the initiative and you're trying to address this. That is leadership. In answering his question, Jeremy, I work for Transnet Freight Rail, and I work with commodities. So the kind of trains that we're moving are moving things like coal and bulk and liquid and so forth. So unfortunately, I can't give you advice as to how we can improve communication on the passenger rail network. Yeah, I think it's a good question. You know, you're a real user and you're
There we go, and he's entitled to ask the question. But what she's
Exactly.
also saying,
Yeah.
the vegetables that are being taken to Durban have no need to listen. It's not important. Okay, but nice try. There was someone next to you that was very enthusiastic. Have you got the mic? Folks, again, I'm cognizant of time. It is 25 minutes past 2. I'm going to stop this at 2:30 so we can have a lunch break. Otherwise, we've got an afternoon session that we've got to get through as well. So what I'm going to do, once we're done, do we have microphone people here? Have we only got one per? I want you to come all the way around, ma'am, and we've got 2 questions here, and then we're going to call it. Okay, off you go, and keep it short.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. My question is specifically to Elaine and Regine. Sorry, did I say correct? Okay, cool. So one thing that's been said over and over in today's conference is that failure is very important for success. But what I found is that this is mostly only true for entrepreneurship. And in the corporate world, when a person makes a big boo-boo, your reputation goes down the drain. So how does a person manage this, and how do you move your failure into success in a corporate environment, and when do you know when to step out of corporate into entrepreneurship?
Damn, that's a good question.
Reggie, would you like
That's a really good question. Regine, let's start with you.
Sure.
Let's pick it up with you.
Absolutely true. Failure does teach us a lot of things. It's how you deal with that failure, and also if it's a huge crisis within a corporate environment that happens, is to deal with it as quickly as possible, to be transparent. Again, the word authenticity comes through. So to make sure that there's a crisis communication strategy in place to fix the boo-boo. In terms of part of that failure is to then also decide, and failures come on our path to teach us lessons. Do we continue on the corporate path, or is this an opportunity? Is there a gap in the market to become entrepreneurial? So it goes back to deciding, what do you want as an individual to achieve? So as a leader, and all of you are here, where is it that you want to go? Where is it that you see yourself? We do need people in corporate. We need leaders in corporate, and we also do need the entrepreneurs. We need both. There needs to be the balance. So it is absolutely what's going to be best for you at the end of the day to reach your own goals.
All right, let's go to this side of the room, please. Who's got the mic?
Hello, my name is Nombo Sondlovu, and thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. Jeremy asked the question, what do you do to overcome some of the barriers that you face? But my question is, what do you think are the most significant challenges that you face as females in a corporate environment? And linked to that, what are some of the things that you have seen in the workplace that women can do better to better advance their careers?
That's a good question. Let's go down the row if we can. So let's start with you.
No, thank you very much, Jeremy, and thank you for the question. One of the challenges that women face, especially in the field that I'm in, is stereotypes. It's a male-dominated field, and there's a perception that women are not capable enough to carry some of to do the job in that sector effectively. And what has helped me personally is what the other ladies have talked about, reaching out to the ladies that have done well. And within our sector, and I'll go back to energy, there are good examples of women that have done well. So just reflecting on those that have gone before you, what they have achieved, and where you can reach out to them. But it also boils down to having confidence in your ability, not letting others define what you can do or what you can't do. So it's really about confidence and making sure that you reach out to those that have gone before you. Yeah.
Let's go down the line, yeah.
So very briefly as well, it's definitely who you align yourself with, who you decide to be friends with and associate yourself with at the end of the day. And also very important is personal growth, is continuous development. You have to continue reading, learning. You're never going to get to a stage that you think that you know everything. And what's very encouraging is that there's a lot of women empowerment out there. It's possible. Just looking at the room that we're in as well is very, very inspirational.
Thank you. I think Another thing that you can do, just to touch on the personal development, is education is important. I'm a firm believer of that. Whether it's formal education or otherwise, it gives you confidence. And also excelling at what you do, loving what you do so much that you are so good at it that it doesn't matter who says what about you, when the stereotypes come in, that your brand, your personal branding, and the way that you work speaks for itself. So I think that's important, to just be good at what you do and continuously have a culture of learning.
Lesego?
Well, I want to remind all women that after all, we did give birth to the men, is that right? So we know a little bit, way much more than they do, okay? But merit supersedes anything.
Yeah.
If you're good at what you do, if you excel, if people can vouch for your work, if people can, if you exude that excellence, no man, woman, or animal will stand in your way. So it just goes back to that. Be good at what you do, be excellent at what you do, and it won't matter whether you're a man or woman.
But how do you sometimes deal with that toxic male resistance that we see?
That is where I say, work and excellence is an aura, and it breaks down those barriers. Because at the end of the day, everything that we do in leadership and in business is about the bottom line. So whoever can meet and hit the bottom line, that's the person that we want to do business with.
Yeah, I think for me, passion is the key. One of the things that they were said of Michael Jackson was when Michael Jackson gets on stage, he's so passionate about what he does, he sets himself on fire and the world pays to watch him burn. And I'm not sure many of us actually burn in our work. We don't have that passion that sets our heart on fire. And how do we do that? How do we as women become people who really love what we do and want to move the baton forward? So that is key for me. And the other thing is, as women, we must learn to play nicely together. We just extremely too cattish. We don't know how to play nicely. We don't know how to say, hey, how can I help you to tie your shoes? What can I do to make you go forward? Because when you move forward, I move forward. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Elaine, you are aware Michael Jackson is no longer with us.
I know, and I love him. So let me say, like Elaine Jackson.
Let's, folks, and again, I've got to keep the trains on time here. Okay, I'm going to take this final answer, and then I'm going to thank our panel, and I'll invite you to take lunch after that. Let's just hear this final.
For me personally, self-belief and knowing your worth. I mean, there's so many people who are brilliant at what they do, but because they doubt themselves, they don't know their worth. They don't sell themselves the way they're supposed to do it. And in that instance, they affect the bottom line. Because especially if you're in business, the most important thing is to make profits for your business. So know who you are, know your worth, and believe in yourself. You can do it. You're sitting here with so many gifts and talents. You're sitting here with a brilliant mind. Use it. And don't be apologetic about what you can do, and get paid for it. Stop doing things for free. You're in business to be paid. Thank you.
I think that's a fine phrase to leave this panel discussion. Thank you very much. Appreciate your insight and your wisdom.